What if I told you that the student pulling all-nighters and filling 5 notebooks is probably going to score lower than the student who studied for 2 focused hours and went to bed at a reasonable time? Yeah, I know that sounds backwards, but I have seen it happen too many times to count. And honestly, I lived on both sides of that story before I figured out what actually works. My name is Sage, and I'm a college student just like you. I have been through the grind, made the mistakes, and found a better way. So today, I want to have a real conversation with you. Because if you are serious about leveling up your grades and getting your life back at the same time, these 8 strategies are going to change the way you approach studying forever. Let's get into it. Number 1. Stop measuring your effort in hours. This is the biggest mindset trap that students fall into, and I fell into it too. We treat time like it equals progress. 6 hours at a desk feels productive, right? But if those 6 hours were spent passively rereading the same pages, letting your mind wander, and switching between tasks every 10 minutes, you accomplished almost nothing. The real question is not how long you studied, it is how effectively you used that time. 2 focused, intentional hours will consistently beat 6 scattered, distracted ones. So, from this moment forward, stop wearing your study hours like a badge of honor and start evaluating the quality of what you actually did during that time. Number 2. Set a time constraint and let pressure work for you. There is a concept called Parkinson's law, and it basically says that work will expand to fill whatever time you give it. So, if you sit down and say, "I am going to study all afternoon," guess what? You are going to study all afternoon and still feel like you got nothing done. But if you commit to finishing a specific chapter or completing a set of practice problems in 45 minutes, your brain locks in. Start estimating how long a task should take, then tighten that window by 10 to 15% and set a timer. That gentle pressure activates a level of focus you simply cannot manufacture any other way. Try it once, and you will be shocked at how fast you can actually move when you give yourself a real deadline. Number 3. Apply the 80-20 rule to your content. Not everything in your textbook is going to be on the exam. In fact, a relatively small portion of the material tends to account for the majority of the questions you will face. So instead of trying to master 100% of the content equally, identify the 20% that carries the most weight. Pay attention to what your professors emphasize repeatedly in class. Look at past exams if you can access them. And go straight to chapter summaries and core concepts before diving into every single detail. Working smarter means being selective, not lazy. Number 4. Group similar tasks together. Every time you switch from one type of thinking to another, your brain needs time to recalibrate. Going from solving calculus problems to writing a history essay and then back to science is draining because each one requires a completely different mental mode. That transition cost adds up and bleeds into your overall study time. Instead, batch similar tasks together. Do all your reading in one block. Handle all your problem solving in another. Write everything that needs writing in a separate stretch. You will move through your work faster and feel far less mentally exhausted at the end. Number 5. Target your weaknesses instead of replaying your strengths. Here is something a lot of students do without even realizing it. When they sit down to study, they tend to gravitate toward the topics they already know well because it feels good and comfortable. But spending 45 minutes reviewing material you already have locked down is essentially wasted time when there are gaps in your knowledge that could cost you on the actual exam. Be honest with yourself. Identify the areas where you are genuinely shaky and attack those first. Mark your notes with a symbol whenever something feels unclear during lecture. That way, when you return to your notes, your attention goes exactly where it needs to go, instead of getting spread thin across things you already know. Number 6. Practice with real exam questions. One of the most effective shifts you can make is moving away from passive note review and toward active practice with exam-style questions. The reason this works so well is that it simultaneously tests what you know, reveals what you do not know, and trains you to think in the exact format the exam will require. Reading about something and being able to answer a question about it under pressure are two very different skills. Work through practice problems, past exam questions, and topic quizzes. When you get something wrong, that is not failure. That is the most valuable data point in your entire study session. Fix it, understand it, and move on stronger. Number 7, use AI tools as a study partner. We are living in a genuinely incredible time for students right now. Tools powered by artificial intelligence can help you generate summaries, quiz yourself on any topic, clarify confusing concepts, and build a study plan in a fraction of the time it used to take. I personally use AI to simulate study sessions, where I ask it to quiz me, explain concepts in simpler terms, and even create practice scenarios based on what I need to learn. This is not about cutting corners. It is about being efficient with your preparation time. The students who learn how to use these tools strategically are going to have a serious advantage, and I want that advantage to be yours. Number 8, track your mistakes and review them strategically. This last one might be the most underrated strategy on this entire list. Every time you get something wrong, whether it is on a practice test, a homework assignment, or a quiz, write it down in a dedicated mistakes log. Keep it somewhere easy to access. Before your next exam, that list becomes your most personalized and targeted study guide in existence. You are not going in blind trying to cover everything. You are going in with a precise map of exactly where your weak points are. That kind of focused review before a test is worth more than 3 hours of general studying, I promise you. Look, I have been where you are. I have felt the frustration of putting in the time and not seeing the results. And I want you to know that it is not about studying harder. It is about studying smarter. And every single one of these 8 strategies moves you in that direction. You deserve a college experience where you are actually performing well and still have time for everything else that matters to you. That balance is absolutely possible. Start with even 1 or 2 of these today. Build from there, and watch what happens to your grades. If this helped you, drop a comment and let me know which strategy you are implementing first. I genuinely want to hear from you. See you in the next one.